I always loved the ocean, and I always loved exploration. So once I found out there is a game that has both, I instantly pounced on it. And wouldn't you know, it became one of my favorite games of all time. This is Subnautica, an action-adventure survival game where you explore an alien ocean, and it's spiced up with light survival mechanics and a mysterious story. I played plenty of survival games in the past, and I'm pretty split on them. But Subnautica is unique by having an interesting world, actual story, and the main focus on exploration. Yes, you have to eat, drink, craft, and eventually even build, but it's nowhere near the pointless tedium the other survival games have. In fact, I think the only survival game that does things similarly is The Forest. But that's a story for another time. So, without further ado, let's talk about Subnautica.
Attention. Hull failure imminent. All personnel abandon ship.
The game starts with your character ejecting out of a spaceship Aurora in a lifepod before a crash landing on a planet 4546b. From there, your mission is obviously to survive, but you also have to find the means to escape the planet and look for other survivors. And without spoiling anything, things get way more complicated, and you'll end up going through the entire playable area. From the safe shallows down to an underwater inactive volcano, which is over 1,000 meters below the surface. It's a lot to cover with a lot to discover. So let's talk about the presentation. Subnautica is one of the best looking and sounding games I have ever played. Everything from the lighting and colors down to the art style, it's just a beautiful game to look at. And along with the visuals, there's also a fantastic sound design and an amazing soundtrack. Alrighty, presentation is behind us, now let's talk about the gameplay. Subnautica is an open-world action-adventure game with a large focus on exploration. Notice how I didn't mention the survival part? Well, that's because it's not as difficult to manage as you would expect. Catching and cooking fish will allow you to stay nourished, and creating bleach will allow you to craft filtered water. It's really that simple. Other things you need to manage are obviously health and oxygen. Health is taken care of with medkits, and the air is taken care of by resurfacing or finding air bubbles. And by crafting oxygen tanks, you can stay underwater longer. Swimming and exploring will allow you to find some resources and to craft some basic tools such as knife, repair tool, or the already mentioned oxygen tanks. However, to craft other items, you need to find blueprints, and those can be kinda hard to find. Some are in these wrecks, but others are scattered around the ocean, usually near the crates. Some of them are a pain to find, and usually after you finally find them, you suddenly start finding loads and loads of duplicates, and that can be pretty annoying. Anyway, once you craft enough useful stuff, you can freely explore. Exploring the ocean of 4546b is unlike anything I've ever played. The sense of wonder is just unmatched. Every biome and cave tickled my curiosity. Every new plant and animal I found basically begged me to scan it. and every area I was unable to explore became my near future priority. You really want to explore everything, and the entire playable area is open for you to do so. So the exploration is really great fun, but eventually you get to craft vehicles to make it even more fun. Your vehicles consist of the Sea Moth, a very fast and nimble mini submarine, the Prawn Suit, which is an underwater mech that allows you to mine mineral deposits, and can also reach depths up to 1700 meters underwater, making it essential for finishing the game. Gotta say though, mining for deposits is... slow and annoying. And finally, eventually you can craft the Cyclops, which is your own large submarine, which basically works like a traveling sea base. Not to mention, it feels amazing to control. With vehicles and some tools you can explore more and more of the ocean, which allows you to craft and upgrade gear, which allows you to explore further and deeper. Ocean of 4546b is a very lively place, and because of that, you'll come into contact with many creatures. Most aren't dangerous, but there are some aggressive creatures as well. They're not too dangerous as long as you keep your distance and learn how they behave. It's also important to mention that you have no weapons. I mean, you do have a knife, but it's not very useful, probably because your character swings it like Steven Seagal. Basically, the knife is a better tool than a weapon. However, while you don't have any actual weapons, you do have some non-lethal defensive tools, like the stasis rifle, which put enemies into stasis for a while, which allows you to either escape, scan them, or get a cheap kill. The other defensive tool is the hilarious repulsion rifle. It just bonks enemies away from you, I love it. So even without traditional weapons, you're still not defenseless. You're still gotta be careful, however, because while some aggressive creatures are just territorial, there are quite a few who would like you for a snack. And your defensive tool will be way less useful against some of the larger creatures, so stealth is always a better and safer option. After some exploration and tense stealth moments, you will eventually get to building your own sea base. There are plenty of building types, energy sources, and customization options. Your only limits are your resources and base stability. The building is easy and fun, and to whoever decided players should get all of their resources back after deconstructing something, thank you. It makes resource management a little less tedious, which is good, but even then, holy shit, resource management is a mess. Your inventory is fairly big and has no weight limit, which is good. However, some items take a lot of space, and worst of all, the resources don't stack up. Every single piece takes an inventory slot. Once you start building and crafting advanced items, the amount of running back and forth is just insane. You will have to store your items and resources in lockers. But sadly these don't have too much space either, so you will need to dedicate entire part of your base just for lockers for resources. And even then you're still gonna run back and forth like a jackass. And since we're talking about tedium, fuck crafting computer chips. And my final inventory related issue, why is there only 5 hotkey slots? Why not 9 or 10? It makes no sense to have only 5. And I wish these were all of the game's issues, but there is one more. Bugs. Look, I understand these games are always a little bit buggy. In fact, some of the bugs are actually pretty funny. However, near the end of the game, for no reason whatsoever, all of my lockers filled with equipment and rare materials just disappeared. And all of my tools and materials with them. And if I didn't find the resources near the end of the game, I would be fucked. I also fell through the floor a few times and noticed some bad hitboxes. These are some annoying issues, but thankfully, the game itself is so good that the issues and bugs didn't turn me off. As always, I'm not gonna end the video on the negative note. Because despite its issues, Subnautica is an amazing game. If you like games focused on exploration and can get through some tedium and resource management, you will not regret playing this game. It's an amazing experience, and I would say the only problem is that I wish I could play it for the first time again, because the first time experience was unforgettable. With a beautiful large world to explore, mystery to solve, and creatures to see, Subnautica is a must-play for anyone who likes action-adventure games. It's one of my favorite games of all time for a reason, and I hope it will become yours as well. So thank you for watching, follow me on Twitter if you want to hear more of my ramblings, please play this game, and I will see you in the next video.